We are back in the world of Napoleonics, and we have an excellent 2v2, I do apologize, a 2v2 for you today. And you can see we have some Russians here charging in to some Bavarian troops straight out of the block early on in this game, trying to take out this cavalry. And this is a Russian 1812. I presume these are like some hussars or something like that, or maybe they're, I don't know, they look like hussars. And they are taking out some Bayern, well, it's not Bayern, it's Bavarian cavalry of some sort, some Jaeger cavalry. So that is a very good start. But yes, anyway, guys, welcome back. I am PopeJohnPaul, and we're here with some more Napoleon Total War 3. And the sounds of cannons and muskets will be filling the air today. And yes, we have an excellent 2v2 between Bavaria, and we also have the Italian-French army, the Italian campaign French army against 1812 Russia, as we've already seen. And we also have the Sardinians here today. So that's an interesting sort of alliance. And as you can see, it's going to be some sort of a river crossing. It's an icy river that is ready to be crossed. The bridge is blocked by a cart and some trees. So that is out of use today. But the river is strong enough to take the men, or the ice is strong enough to take the men across. And hopefully it won't be cracking anytime soon. But anyway, if you are enjoying seeing Napoleon Total War 3 at the moment on the channel, then do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and leave a comment to show your support as we work towards 2200 subs. We are very, very close. Thank you for all the support as always. Oh, there's an awesome shot goes off there, doing a lot of damage to morale and killing off about 5 or 6 cavalry. So that's not a bad start. But yes. Thank you for all the support recently. Keep it up, guys. Love it as always, and love you guys. Can't thank you enough for all of the support. And yes, there you go. The Russian cavalry is running off back towards its own lines. And looks like the Bavarians will be able to safely cross if they fancy the opportunity. It's whether who wants to make the crossing, really, because obviously the attacker on a river crossing always has the disadvantage. But right now, if I was Bavaria, I'd be wanting to cross, because it doesn't seem like the Russian armies, like the infantry certainly is nowhere near this crossing. The cavalry is nearby, but that's about it. I mean, if they send some cavalry and some light infantry across, they might be able to take this side, get a bridgehead, then bring the line infantry across. Who knows? But over here, it looks like the French, or maybe they're waiting on the French. Quite possibly are waiting on the French, who are still. They spawned a long way away. They spawned all the way in these woods over here, so they had a long way to come to get around to the river crossing. This bit over here is still flowing. So this bit over here, the ice has, well, the water has frozen and become ice. And what do we have back here? We have some, oh, we just have the generals. Okay, so we can see the generals of, yeah, that's it. So we've got a Romanov here. We have one of the royal household. It's not Alexander, but it's Konstantin Pavlovich Romanov. I don't know what relation he has to Alexander, but he's here today as a general, doing his bit. And then we've got some Italian chap as well, Michelangelo Colli-Marchi. I don't know who he is. For all my knowledge of Napoleonics, I do not know who he is. I mean, I don't know a lot about what the Sardinians did, to be honest, during it. They were obviously harassing, but I don't think they played a major part in the wars, really. And then we can see the artillery going off. 6-pounder here. I think that's shelling, possibly. Might be shelling the generals over here. I don't know. It's all I can assume it's firing at. Or maybe there's cavalry here. This cavalry's returned. I feel like this is all I can see, so I'm going to say that the Russian and the Sardinian armies are pretty damn far away. But I'm just going to fast forward for now, see whether anything else happens for now. But sometimes these battles can take a little while to get into action. I mean, certainly Napoleon Total War 3, they are often long and lengthy. But they're awesome musket fire battles. I don't know, musket fire battles, that's terrible English. Line battles, that's what I was meaning to say. But yeah, look at these guys, they look awesome. The Bavarians just look glorious as ever with their strange helmets. Oh, there we go. I can start to see quite a few troops starting up here. It looks like it's going to be Sardinia that's coming across. We've got some Carabinieri, so light infantry here. Carabinieri? Yes, something like that. And then we've got a 3-pounder here appearing for Sardinia, and more cavalry, dragoons. Interesting to see what they'll do. Looks like it's going to be the French against, well, Piedmont and Sardinia, And it's then going to be the Russians facing off against Bavaria. By the looks of it, look just how they kind of set up to start with. But then at the same time, it looks like Sardinia is also going to tangle with Bavaria just as much. So maybe that's not the case. But it looks like the guns here are just putting holes into this cavalry line, which is a very good start. I mean, that's not a bad idea. And there you go. Light infantry has started firing with Carabinieri, I presume, firing at the Bavarian light infantry across the river. They can barely see what's going on. I mean, these guys are firing into a wall. That can't be good. But yes, the Bavarians are firing back as well. If I was the Bavarians, I'd start to get infantry across this river. Get your light infantry into the fight. Look at these. These, like, reeds are, like, taller than the men. It's insane. Here we go. The first light infantry. Oh, they look like they were going to get moving. They look like they were going to try and go across this river. I mean, obviously, it's going to be very safe. It won't crack. But, I mean, I can imagine, like, these guys being very, like, nervy when crossing this river. Like, you just imagine, like, that's 114 men. I mean, it's like 300 men here trying to cross, like, a very small, like, area of ice. So there would be a lot of pressure on the ice there. It'd be kind of cool if, like, the ice did crack and, like, all those men went under. Like, it's possible. Or, like, a cannonball just, like, destroyed, like, a bit of the ice or weakened it. So you could then go in. A bit like walls. Like, walls get, like, certain percentage damage. Ice could have a certain percentage of damage or, like, chance of breaking. It'd be obviously very unlucky, but it'd be kind of a cool thing you could throw in if you wanted to. And here you go. You can see the Piedmont cavalry is flanking around heavy. And, I mean, Bavaria is going to, like, counter it with his dragoons and chevaliers. But, I mean, these infantry here need to be careful. You can see they are actually falling back some, I think, to try and support the cavalry. But, yeah, I wouldn't send this cavalry up. I'd just leave this cavalry, like, here on the edge of the ice. And, or pull it back a bit until you have more infantry support. Oh, the Russians are here as well. Okay, so it's not just them. Oh, this is the lifeguard Russians. Okay, so this is going to be an elite Russian army. Yeah, Liebgardia, or however it's Gavardia. I don't know how you say that, but it's going to be the Russian. It's going to be Russian lifeguards, like all elite stuff. So this is going to be like an interesting thing. So you imagine like Savoy, oh, it's not Savoy, Sardinia. Okay, so we're back basically at where we were left off, but unfortunately the battle did crash. I don't know why exactly it did, but we are back anyway. And yeah, basically what I was saying is that I imagine like Piedmont is going to have the larger of the army, and basically Russia's going to have a lot of elite but a small army. And here we go, we have some Bavarians charging and some Chevaliers going after the Piedmont cavalry here. But the Russians throwing in their troops, and these guys are really elite, remember. This is guard cavalry of some sort. At least I believe it is. If I'm wrong, then I better just scrub up on my Russian. But yeah, the Russians are broken, as have the Bavarians. And the Piedmont, like literally everyone's broken until like Bavaria like sent in more troops and won the day. And there's some lancers over here. I think these are lancieri of some sort. Lancieri, I don't know how you say that. Piedmont, yeah. These guys, yeah, they might be okay. Certainly on the initial shock. And the Russians are sending more across it. These Goroski. These guys did really well earlier, getting some nice guys in there. There you go. They're chasing down the dragoons. They need to be careful. They could do with getting these Akrasias to come across and come and rout these Garuski. Get a 2v1 going on here. And you can see the French cavalry's coming across well. We've got the dragoons here coming across. These dragoons, Peniviri. I think that's like that's somewhere in Brittany or somewhere like that. I don't know. It's like just obviously going to be like the name of the regiment for where it's like based or recruited. And yeah, they're going to rout these Lancers. The Lancers need to get a good charge if they want to do well. And you can see here, these Garuski over here are being chased down. I do apologize if I'm pronouncing things wrong. It's just going to happen. I don't know how you pronounce everything. I don't know how to pronounce German names and Russian names and French names all. I just about manage with the English. But there you go. So yeah, those Russian cavalry have won. They've routed those dragoons. And I mean, they might get scared off by these Karasias. But I imagine the infantry fight's about to start soon, you imagine. I mean, there's like a bit of sniping still going on. But that's about it. It seems to be quite a lot of cavalry still being insisted on being used. And there's guns all the way over here as well. What's this? 12-pounder. Oh, these are going to be some nasty guns. There's two of... Oh, no, there's two sets of 12-pounders or something like that. I think it is. I don't know. There's a lot of guns here. Yeah, I think it's two sets of 12-pounders. Oh my gosh, this is going to be absolute hell. These guns are huge. And they've got a nice little hill here, and I guess they can fire across anything. I mean, there's a lot of dead ground between like them and the front line, though. And here we go. You can see the line infantry is now opening fire. I think this is, yeah, line infantry here. Getting some volleys. You can hear the ramrods just going. That sounds awesome. Excellent from Bavaria, getting some nice little volleys off there. Still yet to see most of the Russian and Piedmont armies, though. They are still hidden somewhere. When they make an appearance, it'll be good to know what they brought. I mean, they're going to need a lot of line infantry to break through all this. You can see there's, well, the Bavarians have like line infantry just about dotted everywhere, which is quite a good idea. I think having like a huge massive line like this, like the French, is, I mean, it can work because then it can just like overwhelm lines. But I mean, like having like small little corps or divisions to sort of support stuff is always a good idea. Like you've got infantry here to support their artillery. I like the setup that Bavaria's got going on here. But he's falling back with his infantry. He's not fancying the march across. Like Sardinia basically just falls back. Bavaria then goes, well, okay, I'm gonna fall back as well, and neither side really makes it any dents. They need to, like I said, they need to bring cavalry across, and they also need to send infantry across all at the same time. And now that they've routed the French, not the French, the Italian and Russian cavalry, they could just like start sending cavalry across here, infantry behind, and make a bridgehead, and then work their way, say, down like the bank, allowing these troops to come across. That would be an idea. That would be something I'd do. To see some Russian infantry now appearing. Okay. What are these guys called? Litovsky. Oh my gosh. Oh, lots of them appearing now. Okay, yeah. Okay, the Russian infantry is finally arriving. These guys do look good as well. Oh my gosh. The Imperial Eagle of Russia reigning high. And there you go. These guys are going to probably be pretty nasty. Here they go. They're going to go into the fight, you imagine. Straight off against Bavaria. It looks like Piedmont's kind of giving the ground up to the Russians to allow them to take over. Excellent. I mean, they've got an imposing challenge ahead of them to the Russians. Either they've got to cross this river and take out these Bavarians, or they've just got to shoot across this river. If I was a Russian, I'd be charging across. And the Russians got more. Oh, it says Garuski over here. They've actually made it out alive. 54 of them still alive. This is a fairly healthy unit. They can keep them alive and get some support with some attacks. They might do quite well. Sardinian's now sending his light infantry across the water or the ice. Maybe he's trying to get some better shots. He could possibly shoot this gun crew here, possibly. I mean, he could also be. He's also at risk of these Uhlans coming in, just like annihilating him. He needs to be careful of that. The Russians might want to actually move up and support this. Not just going to let their ally just go and get like annihilated. Explosions going off here, so maybe there's something here that's hidden that I can't see. I don't know, but there you go. Like a whole load of stuff just appeared now for Sardinia. Sardinia has finally appeared onto the battlefield. You can see it's a lot of these nationals, ordinanze, however you say it. Basically, it looks like National Guard. I mean, it might not be. It might be better stuff. It might be better stuff. They just like a provincial ordinanza. And it's all disappeared, all like just that. As soon as it appeared, it disappeared. Because it's hidden by this tree line here. But yeah, they're bringing their light infantry all the way across here. They're going, like I said, I think they're going to go and help their, well, take over and go back to their own front now. And they're probably going to go and stand in front of the line infantry. The Russians are finally here. They had a long way to come and like spawn, I think. So that was the issue. But I'm going to make a cut here anyway because it's nothing's really going on. Just a little bit of sniping. I'm going to just like probably bring you back to the battle when like the main line battle begins or something really exciting begins. So see you guys in a moment. So here we go. It looks like the action has begun. And the French are opening fire on their own cavalry. No.
Our men are running.
Oh no. Okay, so yeah, basically this French cavalry here was about to make a dash across this ice and go for this light infantry here because these Savoy cavalry was kind of like going to the left. The French was going to the right, or no, well, to their left, and they thought they caught the cavalry out, but no, it wasn't the case, and they retreated, and these guys got in range, and the infantry here just evaporated their own cavalry in so much friendly fire. You can see now that the light infantry is, well, getting fully engaged now with the front line. The Russians are making more little faint charges here with their Gruski. trying to do something. And I think they're going to come back and they just phase through the bridge. That's always good to see. Yeah, I think they're going to try and go for this, these Uhlans here. I don't know whether they're going to get good charges, Uhlans. The French are sending chasseurs across. Oh, it looks like the Uhlans are going to win that fight, actually. Look at that. I mean, yeah, it looks like the chasseurs are going to come across them as well and help. But, yeah, there you go. That Garuski's now finally been routed again. And it looks like the battle is starting to hot up now. I mean, come on. I want to see a big old fight across this river. I don't think either side really wants to do the crossing. So it's going to be kind of like who's going to break first and go, right, I'm going to do it. I personally think that the French and the Bavarians have a good chance. They've killed a lot of the cavalry. They have probably the numbers to do it. And I think I can see stuff over on the far side. They've got cavalry going across. Yeah, they've got like Chevaliers over here and Dragoons coming across. They might be going to try and find out where the Russian flank is and just get around it. You can see more Russians over here appearing. Yegoreski or whatever they're called. These guys are pretty nice as well. And they just disappear like that. Just as I try to like zoom in on them, have a look at some details, they disappear. Some more Livotsky. Oh, we've got some different units over here. Finlandsky, or how, I don't know how you say this, but they're getting shelled anyway, I can tell you that much. They do look nice, they do look nice. And it looks like the Russians are going to go over and support their Italian allies. I mean, I guess they're all, like, the Bavarians also here helping their French allies, so maybe there's more on this right flank's going to be the issue. And look, you can see that they're starting to push across. The Bavarians are going to come and try and take the battle to the Russians, and that's a good sign for the battle to, like, sort of be hotting up a little bit more. It's been a little bit of a slow one, this one. It's a slow burner. Been a little bit of action. There's just a lot of shells going on. It's the issue when it comes to river crossings. You just don't, no one wants to make the first move. This artillery piece has got shelled quite a few times. It's lost quite a bit of crew. I think they're dueling with the Piedmont one across the river. A 3-pounder against a, well, another 3-pounder. You can see the Russians instantly just start going being aggressive, and Bavaria falls back. Why not just send your infantry across? Send your infantry. You've got more than enough infantry here that should rout all these guys. You just surround the those isolated Russians and just murder them. I thought that was going to be the culmination. I mean, there's a little bit of sniping here by these Jaegers on the Russians, but not much in the way of actually anything going on. They're just still trying to find a way that they're going to break through, and there's a volley there going off. A little volley here and there. All he needs is one brave player to take the plunge, and what we've got back here is some Dragoons. These guys are going to be nasty. I'm pretty sure the Russian Dragoons are pretty damn heavy. Yeah, they look nasty. Yeah, Russian Dragoons are like almost on comparison, I'm pretty sure, with like heavy cavalry for other nations, some other nations. Certainly like the British heavy Dragoons is also, like, Dragoons were like as good as like cuirassiers, I believe. They were certainly fairly similarly equipped. Not as like, they didn't obviously have the cuirass, but like they were like of that same like caliber. They were designed, they were like organized the same as, like, say, the cuirassier units. They were smaller, and they were like always, yeah, I don't know really how to explain it, but the British cavalry didn't have like cuirassiers and stuff like that. The Dragoons were their best, and they were probably better than most other Dragoons in other nations. These Finlandsky. They're gonna finally make the push. I hope so. I really hope so. And it still seems like the Russians and the Italians are just sniping across the river along with the Bavarians. And it looks like the Italians, the Piedmont and Sardinia, are finally going to make some moves onto the ice and make a dash. I mean, I think you got to at some point. For both sides, I personally think they both have like reasons to cross this ice. Like, the longer that Russia and Sardinia wait here, I think the more powerful Bavaria and France is getting. I think they're winning most of these small skirmishes to start with. And there we go. Some volleys starting to go off. Some volleys starting to go off, finally. And we're going to see the first line battles begin, I believe. Ramrods loading. You can barely see what they're firing at. They're like, again, they're firing through these huge reeds. They're actually doing quite a lot of damage to this first unit here. It's like this first one's gone across the river. It's being absolutely annihilated, and we're going to see another volley here by the Russians. Oh, Bavarian cavalry. Okay, I'm just about to watch that awesome volley by the Russians. But yeah, Bavarian cavalry going in here. We've got Chevaliers, we've got Cuirassiers. Trying to take out this Dragoons. There's more Dragoons over here. They might need to send in a lot of stuff. What's this? Some Jaegers. Okay, and yeah, the Bavarians, I mean, they have the units. They have, like, a lot more here than the Russians do. But whether they'll win it, I mean, yeah, the Russians have just broken. The Dragoons, like, got absolutely annihilated by those Cuirassiers. But the Bavarians here, I think they have the numbers. They should really be able to take these guys out. Pioneers on the right flank here. Might want to get them into, like, combat. And again, like, why don't they just, like, send units across here? These light infantry here, they could do a nice little flank if they need to. I mean, obviously, they need to be careful that this, like, flank here, the bridge doesn't stop any, like, possible flanks. It does. It will still allow troops through. And look at all those men that got knocked down. How many will get up? Like, you can't just phase through the bridge. So, I mean, like, Bavaria has to be careful doing this. Hopefully, he's going to keep these two in reserve just to protect that flank. See the Russians here, open firing. All they're doing is firing into that reed bed. They don't know what's in there. They're going to fall back. They've had their little skirmish and they feel like they've lost it. I mean, possibly. I mean, I think they're responding because they can see this infantry here, and I think Russia's going to go counter it now with his reserves that are over here helping Sardinia. Some Bavaria with troops in here. Gonna have a volley men. As you all hide in the reeds. The Italians just looking very revolutionary as always. Oh, and the Italians are sending some cavalry across. They're going to try and take out this French flank. That's not a bad idea. They're under fire from the French infantry here, though. And this small, like, French force here is basically overextended to, like, try and engage that infantry. And, I mean, they are going to get punished by the Italian cavalry. Look at this. I mean, this is a huge, like, force here that could possibly get taken out. The French are going to respond with their own cavalry now coming forward. They need to get their cavalry back to the Italians if they want to keep this alive. I think that they did a nice little move. I don't think it's actually paid off. I don't think they've even taken out that line infantry unit. And yeah, France is going to punish them. France is going to punish them. And the Italians are going to push forward anyway. They don't care. They don't care that their cavalry's follow loose. They could get counterflanked by the French cavalry if they're not careful. And there's a big hole here in the middle. I don't know why the French aren't taking advantage of this. Their cavalry could just storm through here and go left or right and surround the Italian positions. I mean, obviously the Russians and the Italians may have more in reserve, but who knows? You can see they are losing this fight, really. Usually, like I said, it's why everyone's being very nervy. No one wants to be the one that goes across the river. You often are on the losing side. And the Italians are possibly feeling that pain right now. Let's have a volley, men! For the King of Piedmont! I'm pretty sure there's a King of Piedmont. I can hear cavalry again. Oh, it's the retreating cavalry, I think. Yeah, look at this. This is like a V for victory going on here by the French. And they're just surrounding, like, it's not quite surrounding, but they're like getting walls of fire on these Italian troops. And there's a fight in the reeds here. Bayonet charge by the Italians. This is a Guard Real. I presume it's a Guard units here. They look very similar to the normal infantry. But they are doing their best. I don't know why they cavalry charged into the back. It should not charge into the back of the infantry. That was a bad decision. Light infantry breaking. Over on this side, the Russians making a big push as well. Oh, what is this? This is a huge unit of cavalry. And what we got here, we've actually got Russian infantry going in. Yeah, this is a huge unit. This is going to be like a Cuirassier unit. Yeah, I think it is. Cuirassier versus Cuirassier, who will win? I presume the Russians, because it's a fresher and just a huge unit. They need infantry in here to help. Like an infantry volley in here will do like nasty pieces of work to these Russians. And you can see here the line infantry just got no match to these Russians. They're fighting in this still fighting in this reeded area. It's like a forest. Yeah, and the Russians have countered that Bavarian little flank that was going on. They put 3 infantry units in. That's enough just to stop them. While the Italians are having a pretty hard time on this flank, I personally think the Russians are doing a good job to Bavaria. Look at that. I just came over here to look at the Italians, but look at this. Bavaria's in full retreat. So, I mean, Bavaria's just got to hold on and allow the French to possibly beat the Italians, because I think they're going to. I think the French will beat the Italians, and then it'll come down to the French versus the Russians. That's my prediction. What have we got in here? We've got Grenadiers, the line. Wow, we've got some good units in here. And yeah, you can see Savoy they're not Savoy, but they have the same flag as Savoy, which is so annoying. Sardinia is in a retreat massively. I think like Bavaria just needs to go. France, I'm sorry, but I need to take my troops over here, and I need to save my flank. If you want your army to stay like intact and the flank to stay intact, I need these troops. Or France needs to start sending his like chasseurs over. He's got like chasseurs, he's got cavalry over here. He's got a lot of cavalry. That he's got like dragoons all the way back here. He needs to send them forward to come and compete with the Russian cavalry and turn the battle back in favor. Like, I don't know what's going on. This is a huge unit of Crassus just being allowed to roam free. These line infantry here are like, I mean, there's 2 units of line infantry here. They're like trying to save this artillery piece. So I presume that's what the Crassus are like bombing for. But they're going to get gunned down by these Russian infantry. And there you go. Bavaria's finally realized they need to pull back his troops to form a new line. And the French are sending in cavalry as well. They're going to try and stop this Russian cavalry, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They just keep routing everything that's here. And here we go. Finally, the dragoons come forward. Finally. They're going to get one of the 3-pounders out there. This one's like doomed, surely. It's a 6-pounder, that one. But yeah, the French are like fully pushing back the Sardinians. I mean, they can barely see what's going on, like I said, several times now through this line. Also, it's a long range they're firing at. But I think finally, oh no, the Russians are still in combat. The Russian cavalry is still in combat. Oh my gosh, these guys are nasty. How much cavalry and infantry is coming here to deal with them? And like the Russians are now sending in infantry as well. It's becoming a massive melee fight, which the French may or may not win. Now, I want to send in the general just to like do some damage. I mean, they actually have got like gun out there. Somehow they got like gun out there. Wow. And they're gonna fire shots in here. If they can get these, get the flank of these Russians, that's a really good start. The general over here is pretty well. He's pretty close to the front line. You need to be careful of that. I mean, if the French win this fight, and then they can just push on. But it looks like the French are going to lose this. Oh my gosh, these Russians. I swear to God. This Karassia unit is just lethal. There's a cavalry battalion back there. That's a pretty good unit. You want to bring that forward. You can see the French have well and truly won on that side. They're actually falling back. I think they're going to go and try and help Bavaria in their fight. And, well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I mean, this unit here is getting shot on the back by its own troops. You need to be careful of that. Don't want to damage your own morale. And it's getting shot like so much by these Russians. Volley fire, men! The cavalry's going again. What is this? It's the Russians again. Just stop with this cavalry. It's just... It shouldn't be allowed to stay on the fight. I mean, it is a good unit, though. I mean, they're actually getting focused down heavily. And here we go. Cavalry battalion. They should... I hope this cavalry battalion can win. If they don't beat the Crassiers, no one's going to. The forming square are the units that can for the Russians. But, I mean... Look at this, like, all the all France has to do now is push on and just take out this general. Like, that's all he has to do. No, just do that. Just push on, take this general out. It's all you have to do. Russia's, like, running out of men. I mean, Sardinia, I don't know where the heck what he's got left. He might just have guns. I think he has. I think his infantry's well and truly gone. You can see the Russians are getting forced back across the river, what they came from. And, I mean, their best cavalry's gone. Some of their best infantry's gone. I mean, they've still got some nasty infantry. They've still got a general. I can't see any guns. I don't know if Russia brought any guns. Possibly Sardinia decided to bring them all. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the French and Bavarians are still looking okay. Bavaria is looking a little worse for wear. But France looks like he's basically got his whole army left. Certainly in infantry, he has most of his army left. He's got reserves over here that like aren't even like being used yet.
This battle is almost done.
Apparently all hope is lost. I presume that's all hope for the Russians is lost because they are retreating back across this river. Look at their sorry faces. I'm just going to fast forward for a little bit to see whether the Russians turn around and start to face the Bavarians and the French again. I imagine they will have to. If not, then I'll just make a cut until like the next bit of action begins. Because, well, I don't know what is going to happen now. I presume the French and the Bavarians have to make a push. I can't see the Russians and the Sardinians coming back across. Mainly because they just have lost like most of their men in that assault. Like Sardinia, I don't know what he did. He pushed like had all his line infantry seemed to be all over there. He had a bit here, but like he seems to throw everything on this left to try and break through, and he just got like put in a V shape by the French, and they just like shot on like every different angle, put like all those angles available, and just like vaporized them. And then it also Sardinia sent his cavalry across, which was kind of a bold statement to do because then like the French cavalry came up, which was a lot fresher and just did like the work. It just cleared up anything that was left. It's always a risk, I think, attacking first on Napoleon Total War 3, because then you kind of show your cards, and like units break so quickly. So like attacking first, it's more likely that your men are going to break first. So I mean, it's unfortunate certainly for the Russians and for the Sardinians. I think they've learnt a valid lesson here. But I'm just going to make a quick cut because it looks like nothing's going on at the moment, and I'll see you guys in a moment when the battle reignites. So here we go, we are back, and it seems like the Piedmont troops are returning. Piedmont and Sardinia, they've got some of their carabinieri back, and they're starting to do some more sniping again against the French, who are pushed across, as have the Bavarians. And all you kind of missed was a little cavalry charge over here. They try to take out the general for Piedmont. I think they did do a fair amount of damage to him, but they did actually rout with the support of some light infantry, did rout the cavalry. And you can see here the French are now opening fire, like absolutely destroying these light infantry. Light infantry against line infantry, there's only one winner. Over on this side, the Russians have in fact occupied this building here, or they had occupied this building. I think they've vacated it now. And they actually looks like they're going to fight outside the city here, outside the town. For the Tsar. Money! So here we go, we are back, and yes, we're basically back at the same point that we were at. Unfortunately, it crashed again. I don't know what's quite wrong with this replay, but we are back. This is what I do for you guys. I make sure that the battle is finished. There is no men left standing. That the battle is fully complete, and we have a result. But yes, you can see the Russians still firing here, opening fire. Oh, it's glorious to hear the musket fire go off. That's called rifle fire. It's definitely not rifle fire. If these guys all had rifles, it would be so much more heavy casualties. This battle would be over in like minutes. But yeah, as you can see, the Bavarians are trying to like get around the artillery position here of the Sardinians, and they're now coming up against the Russians here, the Russian guards. I mean, they've actually routed some units, have the Russians, so they're doing quite well there. But the French are basically going to be just going walking straight on into this artillery position here, along with some of the Bavarian troops. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, the Russians and the Sardinians have a nice little defensive position now. It's now the time of the French to be aggressive. And they're probably going to lose a lot of men from this. Like I said, being the aggressor in Napoleon Total War 3, it doesn't often end with a lack of casualties. You usually have like at least a fair few units break. And you can see the Russians are falling back. I think they're going to fall back on that town hall. Like I said, they were occupying at one point, and then they all bailed out to come and face these Bavarians. And I think they're reconsidering just going back inside that building and hiding there. But yeah, now, I mean, leaving that flank there, like falling back there, they now left this artillery piece ready to be flanked, so you can just go around here through these buildings, just flank in there and do some nasty work. So they need to be careful. They can't fall back too far, can the Russians? I mean, Sardinia might need to transfer some troops across if Russia's having some issues. But he's got a big long line here of French to face himself. Can't wait till they open fire. You can hear the crackling of musket fire going on elsewhere. The Russians and the Bavarians still engaging each other. These guys just had it out for each other the entire battle. Are we going to have a volley? I don't know. Possibly not. Yeah, here we go. Just the drums first. I mean, they might break, if they get a good volley, they might break these guys here. Might break that unit on the flank. It's a very low morale. See more French coming up now on the right hand side of your picture. They're coming up to support the Bavarians. Got some line infantry here. And the Russians also breaking on the left, it seems. I mean, look, they're going to look like they were about to send their general forward. And the artillery has now been just shot to pieces by all the infantry that's come up. So there you go. The flank is, or the center here now is gone. The Russians have actually did defend the flank, but there's just not enough infantry to defend this gun position. I don't know how much it fired. If it could fire in canisters, that would have been huge. French cavalry now coming up all the way at the back. That's obviously going to be a threat because the Russians and the Italians have no cavalry left available apart from like generals. But if you send those generals in, that's a one-way ticket to defeat. They've just got to like fall back and try and break some of these infantry units the hard way, like in these street fighting. I mean, the Russians have the elite troops. I'll give them that. I mean, they're firing at all these Bavarians, but I mean, the Bavarians seem to just have more and more men just to keep preparing. And I can hear, look like charging was going on. Oh yeah, the Bavarians are charging the light infantry here of Sardinia. So I mean, this is certainly a good way to break through. They can just like take these guys out, and then they can get in behind these Russians, or they can get behind this infantry line here. This is certainly the chink in the armor currently. There you go. You can see these line infantry are going to break everything here. So well done to Bavaria there. The French are just going to push on forward and just look at these Russians dead in the face and just go on. I dare you to face us. A volley from the Russians, possibly. So they're getting absolutely like decimated. Yeah, you can see here they're going to get shot on all flanks. I want to see this Bavarian volley here.
Our men are running.
Oh, these units, just awesome, just awesome. Yeah, they're just firing to the flank of this Russian unit here, which is like literally just going to get like evaporated. Poor guys. And then they go, they're falling back, breaking them, and then they're just going to carry on down the line. They'll just pretend like that. They'll just move this one up and just carry on the same process. And yeah, Russia's going to lose all its infantry if it carries on like standing here. It's got to fall back, fire into the position, but they're running out of troops and they're just going to keep getting flanked and flanked. I mean, you can see Sardinians now just had a huge chain rout. Oh my god. They're just no match to the French. And they look like they're forming square, possibly. Look like they were going to. Yeah, they're forming square. I think they're concerned about this cavalry on the flank, which is not a bad idea, but I mean, forming square to face line infantry combat is never a good way to win the fight. But they have no choice. It's either this or get charged by cavalry. Grenadiers, the line. They're going to charge forward. They look like they're going to charge forward. Charging Grenadiers. This is a brave decision. Let's see this. And let's see the Grenadiers. They get a volley. Oh. And yeah, and they go dead in. Just like, look at that. The Sardinians didn't even reach. That's what happens. Charging 3 units of infantry like that, you're going to end with the results just like that. And you can see that they're basically all routing. Now they're all retreating back to, well, the city. And any sort of resistance is kind of over. I think the Russians are now in this town hall here. Yeah, they are actually in here. I thought they weren't, but they are. They have some units in there. I just can't tell what. And I think they're charging. Is that the Russian general? No, it's just another infantry unit. This is a bit dangerous, to be fair. Fighting the Russians in combat, that's kind of what the Russians want. I won't lie. I mean, but it seems like this is still far too many. The Russians here in their green, facing the French and the Bavarians in the blue. And there you go. The Bavarians is going in. They're just going to overdo it. I mean, the Russians have broken the French, to be fair, and they're not breaking themselves yet. They need just a volley in there. Oh, what is this? This is the... Oh, okay, that's the Sardinian general that's just like getting gunned down in there. They're going to... The Sardinian general is trying to charge the back of these troops. But, I mean... Yeah, there you go. The Russians gone. And now the Sardinian general here is going to get caught out. And that's probably Sardinia out there. And as soon as this general dies, you imagine that... well, these infantry won't return. And it's just going to be the Russians left in this building again. It's going to finish with the units defending this... Well, defending a building. I'm pretty sure the last Napoleon Total War 3 battle I did, there was like random units just hiding in buildings, trying to hold out. But I guess that's the best way to, like, you probably will break at least one unit doing that, because like they'll come in, you'll just like, annihilate them, and then but the second and third one will probably do the job. And there you go. You can see some more light infantry that are going to go inside of these Russians here. In they go. They're going to get shot from one side and stabbed on another. Yeah, these Yagurski are gone. Yeah, they just gone like that. And there's like 139 men in here of some various units holding their best. I mean, I don't know what the Russians and the Italians did massively wrong. I mean, they were the brave ones to go across the river. It's a long front to hold. Maybe just the Russian faction wasn't basically maybe the best choice of a faction, because he had a smaller army and his elite troops. I mean, they did well. They did break across the Bavarian side. I think he did an okay job. Maybe the Italians, if they hadn't attacked at the same time, maybe if they'd just been a bit more passive, might have worked. But I don't know. That might have just meant that the French would have sent more over to stop the Russians. I don't know. But yeah, basically, I don't think the Sardinians are strong. I don't think the Sardinians were strong enough. Actually, I'm going to decide. I don't think it was the Russians that did anything wrong. At the same time, the Sardinians wasn't a bad player. He did okay. But possibly, I don't think it was a strong enough faction to take on the French. If the Sardinians had taken on the Bavarians and the French had taken on the Russians, it might have been a bit more even, and the Sardinians may have had more luck. But they just faced like a good French army and a good French player that's basically just gone on and just like annihilated like his opponent. Basically, is the best way to put it. I'm just gonna fast forward here because there's not really anything going on. They're just surrounding this town hall. I don't even know if they're gonna even like break in. They might just shoot it from the outside. But this is how, like, this is the shame at the end of like these Napoleon Total War 3 battles. Usually they end up something like this, a bit slow. Just what we're gonna do. There's 292 men in here. Wow, they have more men than actually should be allowed in their incapacity. And they're gonna storm in now with the French. You'll imagine they really need to, because they're losing a lot of men, like just standing here. Yeah, they just all look at this. The French are breaking. They could just lose the battle if they're not careful. Bavaria's like got troops set up firing into the building, and a general just died. Whose general just died? Was it the Russian one? I believe it is. Yeah, I think it's the Russian one's just broken and died. It was inside this building and has been killed. So hopefully that helps with destroying Russian morale. I don't know. They need these grenadiers of the line to go in straight into the building, because they'll do some work. In they go. In they go. The well, what moves on to become the the old guard. Usually the grenadiers of the line here will go on to become old guard. They dress like old guard. Obviously, they did have grenadiers of the line, just in like the normal Napoleonic French armies as well, like in the later Napoleonic French armies is what I meant to say. But like, yeah, most of the like Italian veterans became old guard, and then like any Egyptian veterans became old guard. I mean, I don't think any Egyptian veterans made it out of Egypt. I think they all died there. It's such a sad loss for France as well. They lose like 30,000 men in Egypt for absolutely nothing. And yeah, you can see here they're just firing, like focusing fire into here, like just shooting any Russians that like come out. Yeah, you can see broken units here, and I think this is going to be it. I think that's these grenadiers have taken the building. Yeah, and that's probably going to be it. I'm just going to probably just cut it here, and unless there's any major other fighting that goes on, I mean, they're just running down broken units at this point, which is just not anything interesting for you to watch. So I'm just gonna just make a cut here, and then probably unless there's any major fighting, it'll probably be the end results. So I'll see you guys in a moment. And there we go. There's the end results. It's a victory for the French and for the Bavarians. There's no surprise there after that final fight at the village and the routing of Sardinia and Russia. So well done to Anderson and Tom, who were playing as the French and the Bavarians. Anderson was the one that sent this in, so well done to him, and thank you for sending this in. But also well done to Willem Vallis and Grizzly Fox. They did a good job. They held the line for a long time, and then they were the brave ones to go across the river. I've got to give them that. I've got to give them respect for that, for being aggressive. But yeah, they weren't quite enough. I mean, you can see the difference in size of like Grizzly's army compared to like some of the others. It was like 700 men smaller. But it did get a lot of kills. It got more than the Bavarians, and certainly more than the than the Sardinians. So like I say, I think the Sardinians were just not the choice to bring. They didn't get many kills. And they actually got more kills than even the French. So well done to the Russians indeed. But yeah, we'll have a look at the French results. As we can see, there's Grenadiers, the line here getting 234 kills. Another unit here, Grenadiers, the line getting 158. Usually they do the best, the Grenadiers. Cavalry here getting 92. Some line infantry, sorry, getting 84. Then Dragoons 70, and there are the rest if you'd like to have a look. So if you guys enjoyed this Napoleon Total War replay, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and a comment. And until next time, Legionnaires, bye for